drop the beat. Let me tell you a story about a man named Felix, straight out of the old school, here to reveal the facts.
Yo, hold up, what's the 411 on this cat? He's a cop watcher, a truth teller, laying it all bare, shining a light on injustice, showing he just don't care about their intimidation tactics, that twisted up lies. He's got a camera in their face, watching with his own eyes. Going down the street in my hoopty, feeling the bass, see them blue and reds flashing, all up in my space. Another traffic stop, another power trip display. License and registration is all they ever say, but I know my rights, see I ain't no fool. They wanna play games, but I'm keeping my cool. I don't answer questions, that's my opening line. Got them frustrated, messing with their whole design. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen? With a smirk and a sneer. Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. Talk about officer safety, a tired old excuse for violating liberties and all kinds of abuse. They think that badge gives them a right to be the king, but we the people pay the salary and we're the ones who sing the song of freedom, the anthem of the just, exposing that corruption in the system we don't trust. From illegal searches to tyrannical demands, I stand my ground firmly with the law in my hand. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight. Are you a sovereign citizen? With a smirk and a sneer. Fuck you, I'm not a cop, is all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. This is for the people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. They talk of lies, this ain't no game. Know your amendments, speak their name. The first, the fourth, the fifth, that's a trifecta. Protects you from the goons who wanna disrespect you. They might have the weapons, they might have the crew, but knowledge is power, me and you, we know it's true. So next time you see him with that arrogant swagger, remember John Felix, the lyrical dagger. Peace to the auditors, the watchers in the street, keeping the pressure on, can't be beat. Fuck you, I'm not a cop, it's all they're gonna hear. Got my camera rolling, every move they make, for every crooked copper, for goodness sake. They talk of people who've been pushed around. John Felix on the scene, holding it down. They pull me over, flashing lights so bright, asking dumb questions, trying to start a fight.
I live here.
Bye. Go. I live here too. I live right in the woods over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Right in the woods.
Right over there.
I will find your ass in the woods, pal.
We're neighbors now.
Get out of the neighborhood.
Oh man, I'm
Are
not
you just
getting.
a douchebag or what?
I'm not gonna get. Why are you calling me names, man? Why
Because you're a fucking idiot.
you know what I say about the sign? It's
Yeah,
my,
I see the sign.
it's a magic
What-
cardboard mirror. and
You,
it-
you
just
know
let me-
what's even worse?
It reflects what's
is
in-
that you're a vest.
Stay back away from me, man. Stay back away from me.
Maybe you should keep going, buddy.
Stay back away from me.
Get out of my neighborhood.
No, I'm not going anywhere.
Okay, we'll see. I'll
You know
drag
what I
your
say about the
ass
sign right here?
out of here.
It's a magic cardboard mirror and it reflects what's in people's hearts. And you're a meanie pants.
I hear you.
You're a meanie
Worst
pants.
part about it is you're a vet.
You're a meanie pants.
You claim yourself to be a vet.
God bless you, man. I'm glad we're neighbors now. I'm right over there.
Okay, we'll see for how long, dude. We'll see for how long.
Why are you so angry? Why are you so mean?
Because you're an idiot. I asked you to leave.
Why are you calling me names? You don't.
I guarantee you he has blue line paraphernalia somewhere, that guy. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, big dummies, one and all. If you guys don't know who Jeff Gray is, then you haven't watched First Amendment auditing, period. He is one of the originals. A lot of people actually give him credit for starting First Amendment auditing, since people are throwing that around lately. But even he didn't start First Amendment auditing. He was probably one of the top 5. And he's here with us right now, ready to join. Let's bring him in. Jeff Gray. Yo,
Hello,
brother.
everybody. How are y'all?
Tell us how he sounds, everybody, and we'll get it cracking.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
You sound good to me.
All right.
Let's see what they say. This is so awesome. We love you, Jeff, says Engineer X. GOAT. How you feel about being called the GOAT?
I'm cool with it. I get called a lot of things. Being called the goats, it's okay for me, man. You know.
You obviously know what the acronym is, right?
Greatest of all time, I believe, right?
Okay, yeah. So Yeah, man. Yeah.
Roger.
A lot of people get angry that you're called that, but you absolutely positively deserve that title. Um, I mean, literally all you do for the most part is stand and hold a cardboard sign that says, God bless the homeless vets. And that
Yeah.
triggers, what would you say, about half the people? Yeah, there it is.
Right
That
hand and top.
triggers. Why do you think that triggers people so much?
Well, you know, like I say, it's not only a cardboard sign, but I call it my magic cardboard mirror. And it just kind of, my attorney, Adam Steinbaum, with the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, is the first one I heard say it. And I really liked it and I agree with him. I'm just basically holding a mirror up to society. And this sign is just reflecting what's in people's hearts. And, you know, fortunately, thankfully, the majority of the people that I meet out there while I'm doing this, when I'm holding the God Bless Homeless Veteran sign, is, yeah, they're kind, compassionate, nice people that, you know, talk to me like a normal person. But most of them do assume that I'm homeless. And you have the nice people who are kind and compassionate, and then you do have the, you know, like I like to say in a nice way, in a funny way, is hopefully is there's a lot of meanie pants out there that they make more noise, and they're the ones that call the cops and cause a bunch of commotion and hate and discontent for some reason.
What would you say the ratio is? 50-50?
No, I would say that it's by far the majority of the people that I encounter are good people. You know, a lot of them are just curious. A lot of them just come up and, you know, they assume that I'm homeless, and I get that because I'm holding a cardboard sign. But you know, you have people that the majority of the people that come up are good, kind-hearted people that offer me help, or they're just curious about what I'm doing and talk to me like a normal human being and with respect and treat me with dignity. But then there's the minority out there that, like I said, that are just the big meanie pants, big dummies who make these assumptions and react with hatred in their hearts. It just reveals in their hearts.
Why do you use like elementary school insults instead of like me, where I go ape shit?
Well, because I think it shows how ridiculous that they're being. I think it highlights how just childish and silly they're being. So, and it kind of, in a way, it de-escalates the situation. But I guess in a way, sometimes it does escalate the situation. But I just don't want to get into a back and forth insults and stuff like that. You know, that's not why I'm there.
So yeah, that's probably actually a way better approach than me, because people can use what I do against me. Well, what are they really going to say about you? He calls them big dummy, dum dum, and meanie pants.
Pants, meanie head.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen you lash out a couple times, and I'm like, yes, Jeff, yes, but I understand at the same time why, because there's already so much scrutiny on us, and people act like we're like psychopaths and weirdos because we're trying to express to the world that standing in public with a camera is not your biggest problem in America. I mean, they act like the world is falling down.
I've had people say, including, you know, full-grown men and women, including attorneys, opposing counsel attorneys, that say, this sign right here that says God bless the homeless veterans on it, this cardboard sign, is weaponizing the First Amendment. I don't know how that's weaponizing the First Amendment, or that I terrorize the public with this message. God bless our homeless veterans. And it's just because people think that you're homeless, and they treat homeless people like trash, like they're not human. And that's the main thing that I like about what I'm doing, is it exposes how the homeless are treated by law enforcement, by public employees, public officials, and, you know, business owners, and just the general public, just the general public itself, how they're treated.
How many times have you been arrested since you started in 2011, right? Or 2008 or 2011? I'm sorry.
I actually looked back at that after I heard Gavin Sims say that he invented, what did he say? He invented auditing or something like that.
He invented First Amendment auditing.
Well, I went back to look and see when I started in January. It was actually on my birthday, January 8th, 2011. I didn't even know that, really. And, you know, I was doing auditing and posting videos 2 years before Gavin Sims. You know, the video that he credits as his first auditing video. I was doing it for 2 years before that. I had already been arrested 2 times. And I don't claim to be the inventor of being a First Amendment auditor. There's no way that I'm the inventor of the First Amendment auditing, but I was doing it 2 years before him. You know, my heroes are Carlos Miller, Adama Freeman, Pete Eyre,
Adamo Freeman and Pete Ayer are cop block, and they had a little organization going. Were they out of New Hampshire? Were they part of that Free Keene movement?
Yeah, I think they were in the New Hampshire area. That also included the Ridley Report, the Free Keene movement. There was Mr. Checkpoint. He was already going through Homeland Security or the Border Patrol checkpoints and documenting it and standing up for his rights. And that stuff all inspired me. But of course, the biggest guy, my personal First Amendment hero, is Carlos Miller. He's the man. As far as I'm concerned, Carlos Miller is my hero, my inspiration.
Yeah, Carlos Miller. I got to speak to him for the first time last August or so, and he was really he was full bore, and he really got discouraged because he thought these stories would get picked up by mainstream media and start to become mainstream. And then he got discouraged because the mainstream media does everything in their power to discourage independent media, because I guess they see it as threat to their corporate dollars or their narrative. What do you think that is?
Well, the mainstream media, especially the local media channels, there's some good reporters out there that do good investigative reporting, but they have to maintain this relationship with law enforcement and the government. If they want to get stories, if they want to get inside scoops or information, if they want to be welcome on the scene of whatever scene they're responding to, they got to toe the line. And I think that's unfortunate, but I think it's just kind of the way it is, which is why I like what we do better. I don't care what they think about me or anything like that, or some of the other guys that do citizen journalism. And we're more likely to be able to expose what's happening without worrying about the consequences.
1 second, Jeff. Let me do some cleanup here. Anyone that brings up Direct Dumb, just block them, please. They've been stalking me for like 4 days. I told Direct D, if you want to have a debate, put up 1,000. We'll go on a neutral channel. And they just go, "You're scared. You're scared." No, shut the hell up. Anyway, so before auditing, so 2011, what made you decide to pick up a camera? Did you start with that cardboard sign in 2011? What made you say, "Let me start a YouTube channel"? And how to give me like that time frame, maybe 2009, 10, 11. What's going through your head? What's going on in life? And what made you pick up the cameras and decide to start a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I didn't start doing the God Bless the Homeless Veterans outreach until around 2017 or so, 2018. And before that, I mainly focused on photographic auditing, or what I like to call civil rights investigations. And the main focus was our right to record in public and our right to record public officials and official discourse of their duties. That started, what inspired me to start doing that was, watching these channels like I was just talking about, Photography is Not a Crime, Cop Block, Mr. Checkpoint, and stuff like that. And I'm a retired truck driver. I drove a truck from Winn-Dixie for almost 3 decades, and I retired from doing that. And while I was doing that, there's these towns in Florida on 301, Highway 301, that are called, there's a town called Lottie, there's a town called Waldo, and there's a town called Hampton. And they're just nothing but just disgraceful, disgusting, pure speed trap towns. I mean, you would literally have the city cops of Lottie still doing speed trap enforcement while there's an accident going on, and the county would have to respond to it. And the Lottie police wouldn't even stop what they're doing, and they would still be doing speed trap stuff. So what I wanted to do is I'm gonna go out there, and there's this thing called YouTube now. There's cameras out there that you can record stuff. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna record the city of Lottie police officers, show where they're hiding in their hiding spots, drive through the town and record driving through the town, show what the speed limits are, and just put this video out there. So, and my hopes were that it was a twofold thing. It was one, I wanted people to slow down through the town and actually do the speed limit, and two, I wanted people not to get ripped off by these road pirates, is what I call them. These roadside criminals out there in Lottie and Hampton and Waldo. And that's what got me started. And the very first time I went to Lottie and pointed my camera at them, which, by the way, was an old Sony VHS, micro VHS camera. It was actually on a cassette.
VHS-C.
Yeah. And this video never saw the light of day because I've never converted it to digital. But I was surrounded by the city of Lottie police. The mayor, I think, showed up. The chief of police showed up. They surrounded me. They took my camera from me. They detained me for like 30 minutes. And they actually deleted the video. And a lot of people, that would be a sign to say, okay, never mind, I'm not going to do this anymore. But for me, I was like, no, hell no, it's on. And that's how it all got started.
Yeah, in 2011, because a lot of people say that we haven't accomplished nothing, and they're discouraged and they want everything done overnight, and they think there's some silver bullet. But from 2011 to 2026, there's a huge difference in the way police treat camera people. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think the biggest influencer on that was Photography is Not a Crime with Carlos Miller. And I worked with Carlos Miller, Photography is Not a Crime. And he really put the word out there, and people learned that you can film the police through a lot of the stories that we covered and stuff like that, of people filming the cops and filming the police and protecting them from the lies of the cops, and they actually get the charges dropped. And it just became more and more, it's also kind of a natural progression with the availability of phone, cell phones and things like that, and smaller cameras and dash cameras. People have learned that they have the right to film the police, and I certainly hope that any encounter that you have with not only the police but any kind of public official, public employee, you should record it for your own safety.
What's sad about the United States and its culture right now? You almost need not only your phone camera, like almost a backup camera or a secret camera and a secret recorder, and something recording your own driving too, to feel somewhat safe in this country, because everyone, it's just lie after lie after lie, and you almost have to record and document every second of your life in public in order to have an objective record to keep yourself safe.
They're professional liars. Law enforcement are professional liars. They know how to lie verbally. They know how to lie in written reports. And if you don't have the means to protect yourself with cameras or in hidden cameras, like you said, I mean, in my truck here, my pickup truck, I've got I don't know if you can see it. There's a dash camera right there that has a forward and rear facing camera.
And GPS too, probably, right?
Yep, and GPS in the back there. You can see I have another camera that's forward and rear facing. And one of the things that I always do, and I recommend everybody do, I mean, not everybody can go get an Apple Watch. I got this for Father's Day, but my Apple Watch records audio. It's got an app on there. It's called Just Hit Record. It records audio, and it streams it to the iCloud, and it's saved. So even if the cops got your watch off and tried to delete the recording, which they couldn't do because they couldn't get through the passcode, but it's still backed up by the cloud.
Right. So in the free constitutional republic of the United States, you need hundreds of dollars worth of recording equipment to feel safe going out in public, and especially if you exercise your rights that they swore to uphold.
Well, in the free constitutional republic of America, where we have God-given rights that are protected by the Constitution, every time I go out and hold this cardboard sign in public on traditional public forums, I have to let my wife know this is where I'm at. This is the county that we're in. This is the most likely law enforcement agency that I'm going to encounter, whether it's a city cop or the county cops or whatever it might be. And this is most likely the jail that I'm going to be taken to. And if you don't hear from me in 2 hours, I've probably been arrested, and this is where you should start looking. Every time I do.
Sad.
Yeah.
So again, to exercise your rights, you need hundreds of dollars of equipment, recorders, secret recorders, a cloud just in case they smash and take your stuff, to drive around to feel safe that you're not going to get lied to or set up by the government / police. You got to have all this backup. It's just mind-boggling.
And you said earlier, I'm sorry, you asked earlier, and I got distracted. How many times have I been arrested? It's funny. I just counted that in anticipation of this conversation with you. I counted up. I've been arrested 15 times since I started my YouTube channel back in 2011. 15 times. Every single time the charges were dropped. I've never been convicted of anything because I don't break any laws. My wife calls me her goody two shoes. 15 times doing this, and the majority of those arrests have come from just standing on a public sidewalk holding a sign that says "God bless homeless veterans." The first time I was arrested was by the town of Lottie, the city of Lottie, Florida Police Department, and I was standing out there on the public sidewalk with a sign that said "Speed trap ahead," and they came and arrested me. So it's crazy.
I think you also were the first to start doing public records requests and teaching people that we have the right to get those records.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things that I've learned through this process. I was blown away. It was actually my friend Joel Chandler who showed me that you could get these records, because I was blown away. As a matter of fact, it goes back to Photography is Not a Crime and Pen Act with Carlos Miller. Joel Chandler did a public records request and found out that Carlos Miller was being investigated by the Department of Homeland Security, the Florida Fusion Center, all these state government agencies, federal government agencies, all because he got arrested for taking photographs of the cops. And I was like, man, how did you get this information? How did you get these emails? How did you get these memos and documents? He goes, and Joel was like, it's all public record. You just make a public record request for it, and by law, they have to give it to you. Now, that doesn't mean they're always going to. You know how public records works, but by law, the state of Florida has the benchmark, the best public records law of all the states in America.
You think so? Because they don't really put a time limit. They just say what's reasonable amount of time is it not?
I said, well, that's better. There's no time limit on it. The only time that they have is the reasonable amount of time to retrieve the records and produce the records. So there's no automatic 10-day delay, and that doesn't mean that they get to say, well, it can't. It's got to be reasonable. So in other words, if I'm asking for, a copy of the sign-in sheet, which is sitting right in the counter in the lobby, a reasonable amount of time, the courts have ruled, is go ahead and make a copy of it for them, or let them take a photograph of it.
Right. Yeah. So okay. So reasonable. Okay. All right. Also, you were one of the very first, if not the first, to do an open carry audit. No.
I guess, I don't know. I mean, it was a long time ago, and I was putting it on the internet. I'm sorry, on YouTube, and I was doing open carry while fishing as far back as 2012 or so, something like that. Yeah. Getting guns pointed at me.
You inspired the armed fishermen to start.
Yeah, I know. Mike has told me that before, and he blames me for all the trouble he's gotten into.
Yeah, he's very lucky that he got to do his thing. So public records. You're one of the very first to do open carry. So before YouTube, before auditing, did you do any activism, or were you just a truck driver?
I was basically just a truck driver. I did start filming the cops back kind of in 2008. There was a checkpoint. It was right down the road from my house here in St. Augustine. It was actually at the alligator farm in St. Augustine. They were diverting traffic into the alligator farm, and I went over there and started filming that. And St. Johns County Sheriff's deputy actually came up and snatched my camera away from me and shoved me, and I went falling over a bush. So, it's, what are you doing? Why are you filming all this stuff? Mm-hmm. And his supervisor thankfully his supervisor came over and stopped him from doing that, because I was actually standing right where the supervisor of the checkpoint told me to stand. I'm sorry, what were you asking? What was the?
So before auditing, you were a truck driver. Like what?
Before auditing, I was a truck driver, and I was your typical American who believed that most cops are good cops. There's only a few bad apples, and if you got arrested, it was probably because you did something wrong and you deserved it. That was my attitude.
And that's about 80. I say still to this day, that's about 80% of Americans, because they don't realize and don't do any research and see what we see and look up the stats and the numbers. Despite
the overwhelming evidence to the contrary, just video after video after video, dozens of videos that come out every day on YouTube that show cops doing just this most deplorable, most immoral, despicable, disgusting things. And then they cover it up and they lie about it, and they wind up on, most of the time, all they wind up doing is getting, at most a couple of paid days off, something like that. Despite all this overwhelming evidence, the majority of Americans still somehow support the cops, and they think that most cops are good cops, and just do what you're told. Just if they ask you for your ID, just tell them. If they ask you questions, just answer their questions. They're good guys. They're just trying to help.
Just get on the train car. Eventually, is what that leads to, is it not?
Yeah. Basically,
so for me, I was 18. I saw a book called The Federal Mafia. I read it from cover to cover, realized there's no law that says you got to pay a tax on your labor in the United States. What got you into Constitution and freedom culture? Like, who are your influences, maybe, let's say?
Oh, man. See, now you're going to get me into politics.
That's fine.
I figured out that I'm a libertarian. My basic philosophy is, and I think this is the American philosophy, what it was founded on anyway, is basically my name's Paul, and that's between y'all. Keep your nose out of my business, your hands off my wallet, and nobody gets hurt, and it kind of goes, reciprocal both ways. And I was during the debates when Ron Paul was running for president. And at first,
One of my idols.
I thought Ron Paul was an idiot. I was like, what is he talking about? But the more I paid attention to him, the more I realized that he was right. And these Republican so-called conservatives were, they're just big government statists.
Yeah.
You got if you want the two-party paradigm, you got the left, who they're a big party, they're big government statists, but they want the nanny state. And then you got the right, who is big party statists, and they want the police state. That's and both sides love war, both sides love more government. So either way, you're screwed.
Both sides believe in the IRS. Both sides believe in all the unconstitutional alphabet agencies. I always say basically the Republicans are leftists, and then the Democrats are extreme leftists. That's the way I look at the political spectrum.
And if I could point to maybe one single video that really galvanized me to get a camera and actually start filming cops and doing stuff, like starting to film the speed traps, exposing those speed traps in those towns I mentioned in Florida. Mm-hmm. It was a Ridley report, kind of a Freaking Ridley report. They were kind of the same thing. They worked together. Ridley was part of that, where he was walking down the sidewalk and he was open carrying, and he was stopped by I believe it was a state police officer, state trooper in New Hampshire, and the trooper was asking him all these questions, and I think his name is David Ridley, kept just saying, I'm not going to answer questions. I'm not going to answer any questions. The trooper was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and take this gun from you, and you're going to. He's like, I know, sir, I don't consent to any searches. And the whole time he was on the phone with what they called Porcupine 411 or something like that, where they could.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? Where they could stop.
And they had their own little Auditapalooza called Pork Fest.
Pork Fest, yeah. And I wish I had one of those, but I never did. But that one video where he was standing up for his rights, and then there was this other one back in the day where it was put out by this organization called Flex Your Freedoms or something like that, or Flex Your Rights. Mm-hmm. And they had done this filmed the scenario where these kids that were going to a concert had pot on them, and they got pulled over, and they went two different ways: kids that know what they were doing, how to stand up for their rights, and kids that knew what they were doing. All that stuff just kind of inspired me to get started. And of course, Carlos Miller,
Where did you meet Carlos?
Well, I met him in Miami. There was a situation where it was 2013. I drove down there with my wife and my daughter, and I met with Carlos, and Joel Chandler was also there, and we were trying to figure out a way to work together and make photography is not a crime bigger than it is. And Joel was going to be the public records expert, which of course he is. Nobody in the state of Florida knows more about public records than he does. I was going to be like the field correspondent, and Carlos was just going to be the main man. And we successfully grew PINAC from there, but unfortunately, Carlos never figured out a way to really monetize it so he can make a living off of it, and is now no longer around. But we did a lot of good work with Photography is Not a Crime.
Is Joel Chandler have his own YouTube, or because I don't know who that is?
He used to. Joel Chandler had a YouTube channel called Fog Watch, which is an acronym for Florida Open Government Watch.
Okay, all right. And Carlos, yeah. So, and you're married, right? Did you marry your high school sweetheart?
Not my high school sweetheart, but she is my soulmate. I love her very much. I call her, her name is Teresa, and I call her Sweet Tea. And she's my baby, man. We've been together since '93. We shacked up for about 6 years before we got married. Then we got married, and as soon as we got married, we started having children. I guess God was looking out for us. We didn't have
33 years.
Yeah, since '93, I guess. Yeah, we've been together.
How many children?
Three grown children now.
Grown adults?
Yeah, they're all in their 20s.
Are they all freedom-minded like you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure they're extremely proud of your legacy with the civil rights investigations. No?
Oh yeah. They like it, and they also like the kind of I'm in a very good position where, in the early days it wasn't this way. There was a lot of retaliation. They would try to call my job and get me fired and stuff like that, law enforcement officers and stuff. But now it's kind of like if, for example, I'm sitting right here. This is the Shands Bridge. I have to come out here and sit in my truck away from the house because I can't get any kind of quiet at my house with all my dogs, and my kids live there still with us, and they're grown kids. But I love it. It's awesome. But I was coming over this bridge, which leaves Clay County and comes into St. Johns County where I live. And right here where I'm sitting, in this spot right here where I'm sitting, there was 3 St. Johns County Sheriff's deputies. And I was speeding because we had to get home. My wife had to pee. So I was hauling ass. And I saw them sitting there. I was like, oh, crap. But I was doing about 70. And it's a 55-mile-per-hour zone. Sure enough, one of the St. Johns County Sheriff's deputies came after me, caught up to me, got behind me, and I believe what happened is he ran my tag. And when it came back as Jeff Gray, the guy whipped a U-turn and hauled ass the other direction. So I'm in kind of a good position with that. And that kind of bleeds off onto my kids, too. So my son Marcus has talked about how he's been kind of treated different by sheriff's deputy because they know that he's my kid.
So, when I got arrested, and I'd never been arrested before, and then the deputy pulls me up on his computer, my very first arrest. I'd never been arrested. And my picture's in there, and it says, created a disturbance at some courthouse. He goes, you never been arrested. Here you are. I go, I haven't been arrested. So it doesn't matter if you're arrested or not. They still put you in their computer with little notes, like tracking you, like Gestapo.
Back in the day when I first started it, back in 2012, 2011, 12, 13, I started doing public records requests, and just by accident, I was just doing kind of farming public records requests. All emails sent and received by your agency that have the name Gray, Gray, Grey. And I found Florida Fusion Center sent out because I filmed a cop traffic stop over here, just across the bridge over here in Green Cove Springs. All I did on my way home from work one day, I filmed a cop doing a traffic stop there, doing some sort of investigation. I stood across the street on the sidewalk, completely across the street, filmed them. And I found out from that interaction that they created a sovereign citizen domestic terrorist memo and circulated that to every single law enforcement agency in the state of Florida.
About you.
About me. And there was also another traffic stop that I filmed down in Hastings when I was on my way to my mom's house, where they were searching this guy. And then I later got through a public records request, I got the arrest report from that traffic stop, which I had nothing to do with other than filming it, that they put me in the car. In their written report, the St. Johns County Sheriff's deputies put me in the car as a passenger of a guy who was a known drug dealer, a known weapons seller, and I'm talking hard drugs, whatever all those hard drugs are. And they put that in this domestic terrorist sovereign citizen memo that said that I was a part of that traffic stop where there was drugs, guns, and that I was stopped over here from the filming over here in Green Cove Springs. And they also falsely claimed that I was arrested in Jacksonville, where I resisted arrest violently. And they distributed this nonsense, these complete lies, to every law enforcement agency in the state of Florida. And I'll tell you, that's why I stopped doing open carry, because I was afraid that they were setting me up to get killed.
Oh yeah, you might have a point there. So that's just so mind blowing, dude. Like, yeah. How's that not defamation or whatever?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
and it's probably on the record. It's probably in their database to this day. It's not like they're going to erase it or change it, or like they have any honor at all that they're going to do the right thing. So every time you get stopped or your plate gets run, it says Jeff Gray and all the defamation and bias against you, probably.
Yeah, all that stuff's going to come up, and it's their narrative. It's what they wrote, and you have to prove that it's not true. I mean, that arrest up in Jacksonville involved a guy that had fake passports, fake IDs. He had drugs in his vehicle, and he claimed to be a sovereign citizen. I don't know if this is going to get your video flagged by even saying that.
No, go ahead.
He actually said that he was a sovereign citizen, and when the cops tried to arrest him, he fought them, and they put me as that guy. And I never.
Oh my God!
Never happened. I've never been arrested by JSO.
Is there anything we can do about that, or like we totally screwed at this point, man?
It's been 10, 12 years since I discovered it. I've tried to talk to attorneys about it. I've tried to get something done about it. I actually wrote the commissioner of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to get him to retract that, and his response to it was just, well, we're not the ones that did it. We got that information from local law enforcement. So you need to speak to the local law enforcement. It was just, I was like, yeah, I see where this is going. It's just going to be running around.
So in other words, we're just basically blacklisted in police databases.
Yeah, and there's a guy that's right now, I get this all the time, and I don't want to discourage people from, getting involved and becoming an auditor or civil rights investigator, which I call it, or a cop watcher. But there are consequences to it. And what I was just talking about, first of all, you can expect members of your family to disown you and never talk to you again. Because
I'm fine with that, but people who like their family.
The cops, why would you put that out there that the cops did that? I'm like, well, it needs to be put out there. And then, so you got family members that disown you and never talk to you again.
You've had family members disown you, bro?
Oh, yeah.
You're better off, dude, because you're a effing angel, bro. I can't believe just because they're cognitive dissonance, it stings so hard to hear the truth.
Because
it's almost like you're in a cult.
They're so ingrained with backing the blue. They drive around with these are my relatives. I still love them, even though they don't talk to me. They drive around in their big pickup trucks with their NRA sticker and their come take it firearm Second Amendment stickers, and then right on top of all that is the thin blue line.
And the don't tread on me one too. When I see the don't tread on me and a blue line sticker on the car, I go, dude, are you confused or what? Who do you think does the treading?
Exactly. And all you gotta do is watch Mike Taylor's videos where he's lawfully open carrying, and the cops nearly every time the cops are taking Michael's lawfully possessed weapons while open carrying while fishing, almost every time they're taking his gun from him, hey man, I support the Second Amendment 100%. Well, no, you don't.
Exactly.
You absolutely do not. Or you
hey man, I'm gonna disarm you. But I just want you to know, we ain't no bigger defender of the Second Amendment than me. I'm just going to hold and disarm and infringe on your Second Amendment. While like the double speak and it's mind blowing. How can you support shall not be infringed? The first thing you do is infringe, and then out of the other side of your mouth say, "I love the Second Amendment," as long as it's just for you.
It's bizarre, and so anybody who's getting into this, I'm not trying to discourage you or dissuade you from doing it, but please understand. There are repercussions from it. There's consequences. You can definitely expect to get arrested. And if you didn't really make sure that you wrapped yourself in enough of the Constitution, there's a good chance you might get convicted and get jail time or probation or whatever they might give you. And you have to appeal it. There's family members that will stop talking to you and disown you. Law enforcement, when I still worked at Winn-Dixie as a truck driver before I retired, they were calling my job all the time, trying to get me fired but thankfully I had a friend whose name was Clay, and we came up through the warehouse together. He went into management, I went into truck driving, and he would receive the calls because he was my boss, and he would just call me in the office laughing. He said, yeah, we got another call. I was like, really? Who was it this time? Oh, it was the captain of the Florida Department of Transportation, just dry snitching on you and saying, you got this guy working for you. I just thought you should know he's kind of crazy. He has a right to do what he's doing, but just so you know, you might not want this guy working for you. And Clay would just laugh about it and say, as long as you don't do it while you're on the job, it's never going to go past my desk. So I was very blessed in that. But they're going to try and get you fired from your job.
Dude, that's crazy.
They're going to falsely arrest you. They're going to falsely prosecute you. It's not all fun and games.
No, not at all. And the people who think this is easy are stupid as hell, bro. Get a real job. What about get a real job? Like, it's easier to work a real job than it is to be an auditor. It's much safer to work a real job than it is to be an auditor.
Well, let's talk about a real job.
Yeah.
I had a real job for almost 3 decades as a truck driver at Winn-Dixie. And having a real job, don't get me wrong, I was blessed. I liked my job as a truck driver. I liked being in my own personal office every day. But having a job, going in and punching a time clock, is just basically about learning how to take it. As hey man, I'm letting you know I need to get off early on Saturday. I'll do extra work early today or late today so I can get off early on Saturday because my kid's got a soccer game. Saturday comes along, they promise you that it's okay. Yeah, we'll let you off early on Saturday. You come in Saturday, you go out, you bust, they give you a run that takes 8 hours. You do it in 5 hours. You haul ass, you bust ass, you get back. All right, man, I'm gonna head on home because my kid's got a soccer game. No, we got another run for you. Oh, we had this discussion. You said I could go home. Well, you know what happens if you refuse that run? You get fired. Really? That's what having a job is about.
It really is.
Thank you very much, but you can take it. I'm retired from that, and that's why I joke around when people say they see me with my sign. And I'm out there doing God Bless Homeless Veterans, and they say, "Why don't you get a job?" And I say, "No, thanks. That's the last thing I need. No, thank you.
Yeah, when people say that to me, I go ask your boss if you can use the bathroom. Like that's where it comes down to having a job. That someone
Yeah.
has control over you. They pay you just enough so you can eke by in life. That you're not gonna ever really accumulate any wealth. And ultimately, what if the job doesn't offer a pension, which most jobs don't do anymore? You're
If
basically
they do, the company will go bankrupt by the time you retire, and all the pension's gone anyway.
yeah, that and there's that too. Unless you have a government pension, and even that, who knows what the hell between Social Security.
I'm the opposite. Don't get a real job. Figure out something cool on YouTube. You know, I actually went to a
100%.
I went to a career night with a local guy here that's being harassed by the school board, St. Johns County School Board. And we stood out there. I had a sign that said, drop out, quit school, become a YouTube star instead. And people were laughing and everything. Don't get a real job. Don't go to college. Don't get into student loan debt. There's people that go around filming on YouTube that they go around filming themselves clearing stopped up drain holes, and there's a whirlpool, and they get like 20 million views per video.
Or landscapers record themselves and make tons of money.
Figure out to do something like that. Be your own boss, make your own living, and not have to learn how to take it and be screwed over by your job all the time.
Yeah, I was always looking for, like, I own 3 restaurants, and then I sold self-defense gear at one point, and now I make the rings. Anything I can do to not be a wage slave and have some overlord, because real job isn't all it's cut out to be. And people who say that stuff, they're like, it just adds and compounds the ignorance of what Americans are like. How can we get them to understand it's not left, right? It's not the cops it's the most patriotic thing you can do as an American is hate and scrutinize your government. Am I wrong?
Absolutely not. Somehow, and it's not just somehow. It's through a very planned out and orchestrated mind control game that they're doing out there. Somehow, the patriotism has become, instead of if. For example, the Declaration of Independence was just a very eloquent way of saying "fuck the police."
Absolutely.
The Declaration of Independence was just basically people saying "fuck you, we're not taking it anymore," right? In a very eloquent way. That's patriotism. Licking boots, worshiping the flag, worshiping the state, standing up and pledging allegiance to the flag, and doing all this nonsense. That's worshiping the state. That's
brainwashing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Variable News Network. That's very nice of you. Sorry, Jeff. They donated $50. I have to thank them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pledge allegiance.
This is a real job. I do have a real job. I get paid Google AdSense. Yes, I admit it. And people are like, oh, I bet you make a lot. Well, I'm not going to go into how much money I make, but I make money off of YouTube.
You risk your freedom. So what if you get paid? Yeah. Like, what's wrong with getting paid? Like making money as an American, as a capitalist, all of a sudden that's bad because they don't like the way you earn money.
Right. And I pay taxes. I pay taxes.
We pay a ton of taxes. 25% of the gross of what comes in from.
It is a real job. It is a real job. It's just a better job than you have working your little slave wage job and punching the clock and having to take it from your boss. And you're just jealous. That's what it is. They're just jealous of people who have figured out a way. They've kind of won the lottery in a way, and they're their own boss and they do their own thing. And my attitude is don't tell people to get a real job. Tell people to do what you're doing and better themselves.
Do everything you can not to have a boss is my advice. They're like saying, make sure you have to them having a job is saying, find yourself a boss is what they're saying.
Right.
And none of them like their jobs. None of them like having a boss. None of them like being told when they can use the bathroom, being on a schedule, all the crap things that go in with having a real job and being a wage slave. They're hypocrites.
Oh, get a real job, work 60, 80 hours a week, get screwed over on your overtime with taxes, and watch football on the weekend and drink beer. That's the American.
No, that's trash.
That's not the way I do it, dude.
No, that's trash. And again, they think just because the majority of Americans live their life that way, that anyone that goes outside them norms, they like their brain can't handle it. Yeah. It's sad, man. And they just get beaten year after year, decade after decade with the propaganda, the TV shows, the police shows, the government's great. And then like the other shows that are like fictitious, like the the cop shows that are fictitious, and they just break the. I can't even watch them shows because I'm like, they can't do that. They can't do that. But the general public is
they just blatantly film them violating people's rights. And I admit I was one of the people that loved watching cops, and my brain was developed about how this is what you're supposed to do with the cops. And cops can do this stuff. They can go in your car, they can search you, they can do whatever they want to, they can gaslight you. This whole don't make this difficult. Well, who's making it difficult when a person's sitting out minding their own business? For example, like when I go out and watch, the last one wasn't that bad, but nearly every time I go out and watch a rocket launch, just because hey, look, I don't schedule what time the rockets go up, and the rockets go up at 3:00 in the morning, which is better because it's cooler to see it at night. Just because I go out at night, or just because you see hundreds of videos on YouTube where somebody's just out at night and cops come up and they're like, well, you see you sitting over here, you're out past hours, there's closed businesses, and
so what?
Yeah, and this is suspicious, so we need to see your ID.
No, exactly. And the ID thing, man, the ID thing is like, poof, like they're so focused, laser sharp focus on getting that ID, and it's almost like that ID is what they use to link you up.
It shows how unprofessional and lazy and how poor they are at their job. Instead of this whole thing about we got a call. Okay, congratulations. I get calls too. All right.
Yeah.
Unless you got a call from either the president of the United States or the governor of the state of Florida or whatever state you're in, declaring martial law and the suspension of our Constitution, I believe my rights still apply, and I don't have to give you ID. And even if I did give you ID, how is my little ID? It's not a magic crystal ball. It doesn't have the history of everything I've done in a little digital display. How is getting my ID going to tell you whether there's a crime afoot or not?
It's not. It's just control. It's a control mechanism.
Because it's lazy. It's a control mechanism, and it's laziness because they want to check your ID to see if you have any wants or warrants so they can just take you to jail.
Yeah, that way they can skip all the rigmarole of actually having to do police work, do an investigation. Like you said, they're lazy. Back to Cops real quick though. That show Cops, and I think I'm right about this, but I think like the first 3 seasons were so bad that they had like delete the whole things and never re-air them again because they committed so many crimes on video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. What's the future for you in this? You gonna keep going? How long are you gonna keep going?
I'm gonna keep going as long as I can. I'll be honest with you, and everybody that's watching, that last arrest that I had, where I was arrested in Flagler County, when of course I'm standing on the public sidewalk holding my sign, and I'm getting close to 60 years old now. I am losing weight. I am taking the carnivore diet, like you're saying. I don't know if you can tell. I've lost 20 or 30 pounds.
Have you? God bless you, bro.
But I'm focusing more on. I spent a year in Korea when I was in the Army, and I learned to love kimchi.
You told me that. That stuff's kind of strong, man. Very strong.
I'm eating a lot of tuna fish with olive oil. It's called Evo extra virgin olive oil with kimchi, and I'm losing weight. But anyway, back to what you asked me. Getting older. That last arrest hurt.
Yeah, I bet.
It was painful. I thought I was having a heart attack when they were taking me to jail, but it turned out I just had a really bad cramp in my ribs because they had my hands behind my back,
and they mushed you into like a box basically that's half the size that you need.
It smashed me into the back of the car and bent my neck over, and that still hurts a little bit. The whole arrest is humiliating. That was the first time I've actually gone all the way to the jail in a while. You have to get strip searched. You have to bend over, spread your cheeks, and have some dude look up your ass.
It's sickening. It's
disgusting. I'm obviously not guilty of anything
because you held a sign in public.
Yeah, and not only that, but while they were doing that, there was cameras filming the whole thing, and I could hear people. I'm pretty sure I could hear people in the lobby area that were looking at the cameras laughing because
I'm sure.
They thought it was funny.
Dude, they get off on it's like that movie Idiocracy. The violence, the abuse of other citizens. As long as it's not them, they cheer it on. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do it for as long as I can. I love doing it. I enjoy doing it. I like to think that I'm pretty decent at what I do.
You're the best. But
I might be looking at hanging up the sign and the cameras at some point, and then not in the near future, but Well, but then again, I don't know if I could really ever do that.
We'd like to get at least another 5 years from you if you don't mind.
Yeah, I would like that too.
You are suing Flagler and Daytona. What happened in Daytona? Refresh me.
So I'm not suing them yet.
Okay.
Daytona, it's not the city of Daytona. It's actually the city of Daytona Beach Shores.
Okay.
And this is a good time. I'm glad you brought that up because I was arrested in Daytona Beach Shores, the city of Daytona Beach Shores. They charged me with some sort of soliciting statute. And that's the one where they took me to they actually had like a little holding cell at the city police department where they process you before they take you to the county jail, which is the first time that's ever happened to me in Florida out of all the arrests I've had. But then on the way to the county jail, the officer got a call and they told him to drop me off and let me go immediately. So he dropped me off at the 7-Eleven, and
And James came and picked you up, right?
Yeah, James Madison Auditors came and picked me up, and yeah, he's been there quite a bit for me too, as far as when I get arrested, come and get me. But that arrest, they actually took my sign, not this one, but the one that I had. It wasn't the original, but it was one that I had through a lot of stuff. They took the God Bless the Homo sign. It's not this one, but this is the one that I had in Mississippi and a lot of the kind of more known videos that I've done. And they put a sign that had God Bless the Homeless Veteran, free, the perfect example of free speech. They put it in an evidence bag of a crime.
Oh my God, the irony.
And yeah, the irony. And it's still in that evidence bag. I haven't taken it out. When I got it back, it's still in that evidence bag. And pretty soon I'm going to be announcing the Great Magic. I guess I'm going to call it something like the Great Magic Mirror giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give that sign away in the evidence bag, and I'll sign it if somebody wants me. I'll sign the evidence bag if they want me to sign it.
I want you to, and I want to win.
And what we're going to do is my wife and I volunteer to homeless shelter, cold night shelters, and compassion night shelters with the Beaches Homeless Coalition. There's 3 churches in the Jacksonville Beach area that when it's cold, we'll do cold night shelters, and then once a month, when during the summer, we do what we call compassion night shelters. We're just bring them in and feed them and watch a movie and give them a good, cool place to sleep. But with the Beaches Homeless Coalition, I'm going to put the link of the Beaches Homeless Coalition, which is their donation link. So this is a link that's already established. No money will ever touch my hand or anybody else's hand. I'm going to ask people to donate to the Beaches Homeless Coalition. When you donate, put your name on there, enough, or at least enough information where I can contact you. And then what we'll do is we'll do a drawing of the names, and we'll give the sign away to whoever is drawn out of the pool from the donations. And hopefully we can raise quite a bit of money for the Beaches Homeless Coalition. But I'm going to officially announce that pretty soon here on my channel.
So you practice what you preach, man. That's all.
You get the breaking news on that, and hopefully everybody will get excited about it. And I want everybody.
I'm excited.
I want to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know that's probably too big of an idea, but lots
Not
of
really, man, because you get a lot of reach now, and you get tens of thousands of views per video. So if even if every viewer dropped a quarter or 10 cents on you, you could make a substantial amount of money.
and then okay, so Daytona Beach Shores, I was arrested there.
Yeah.
That was
what was that? Okay, what was the charge that day?
It was a soliciting charge. They had some sort of ridiculous ordinance there, soliciting ordinance, where it was illegal to even ask questions for information. Literally, if you went up to a cop and you asked them, "Hey, what time does the police station close?" That could have technically been considered, by the way they wrote a legal act under their solicitation law, and that's what they arrested me under. So, and I also got arrested, of course, in Flagler Beach about 6 months, 7 months later. And I'm not suing them. What I've done is I've sent a demand letter to the city of Daytona Beach Shores, letting them know that we plan to sue unless we can resolve the issue. And I've also done the same with Flagler Beach.
Notice of intent to sue, right?
Notice of intent to sue, yes, sir.
So, on the way to the jail, Daytona Beach Shores, the deputy got a call and they said drop him off. Did they still charge you though?
No, they claimed that by dropping me off, they made me whole, and it was just everything's okay then because they dropped me off, even though they held me in jail for, or their little holding cell at their facility for almost 3 hours.
I think by dropping you off, they proved that they falsely imprisoned you to begin with.
It was kind of cool. It was almost like that scene from Jack Reacher, where he's sitting there in handcuffs at that restaurant, and he tells the cops, he goes, "Here's what's going to happen. In 3 minutes, you're going to get a phone call. I'm going to be out of these cuffs and you're going to be wearing it.
Yes.
Wasn't quite that extreme, but he gets this phone call. On the way, transporting me to the Volusia County Jail.
Mm-hmm.
I hear this conversation, and he goes, "Hey, man, we just got a phone call. We're going to go ahead and drop you off. We're not going to take you to the jail, and we're not going to charge you with anything. Where would you like to be dropped off?" I said, "Right here is fine." We were
Right.
driving by.
Get me the hell out of here.
Get me the hell out of here.
Mm-hmm.
It was at that 7-Eleven. I called the video when I published it, the 7-Eleven drop off, and that was the weirdest thing, man. It was so funny.
All right, so the sign. When do you think you're going to get that sign back?
Which sign?
The one that's in the evidence bag.
Oh, I've got it. It's at home.
Oh, okay. And when do you think you'll do the? When are you going to plan on doing the raffle thing?
I need to go ahead and get it done. I need to go ahead and do a quick little video announcing it and publish it on my channel. I'll put a link to the Beaches Homeless Coalition, and what I'll do is I'll ask people to just put enough information in there so that when we do the name draw, if we happen to draw your name, whoever it might be, that there'd be enough information on there, like your name, like your first, middle, and last name, and maybe your home address. And of course, when I draw the name, I won't say what your home address is, but I'll just say, "Hey, look who the winner of the Magic Cardboard Mirror is Jane Smith from Grand Rapids, Michigan," or something like that.
What branch of the military were you in?
I was in the Army.
How old were you when you enlisted?
I was 18.
How many years?
Because I was still only 19 years old when I first got to Korea. I was in for I had a 3-year service. I signed up for 3 years. Wound up doing about 2.5 because they had a program at that time where they were like, "Hey, look, if you feel like you made a mistake joining the Army and you want to get out, now's your chance." And they had like a little thing going around where they were allowing people to go ahead and get out. So I got out. I didn't do my whole 3 years, but I did get an honorable discharge.
You went to South Korea?
Yeah, I went to basic training and AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And then I went to, after I got out of basic and AIT, where I became an AD at Mike, which is a military transport specialist, which is a truck driver, fancy way of saying truck driver.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Korea. I was at Pyeongtaek, Camp Humphreys, in the 802nd Engineer Battalion, which I don't even think it even exists anymore.
I think there's still 30,000 American troops stationed in South Korea, honestly.
Oh, I'm saying that. I'm just saying the 802nd Engineer Battalion.
Oh, okay. Your specific battalion.
Yeah, Camp Humphreys is definitely still there. I think Camp Humphreys is now the biggest overseas American military base in the world.
And that's South Korea?
South Korea. Yeah.
What was South Korea like?
It was cool. I would like to get back there someday. I loved the food. I loved the people. It was pretty cool. I'd like to go back over there one day and just kind of spend a week or so in Korea if I could. And
were you married when you went there?
Oh no. I was.
And that was what, the early 90s or late 80s? Would you say?
That was late 80s, early 90s. I remember when I got to Korea and I was at Camp Humphreys. In the barracks there, they had vending machines that actually had Budweisers in them. And I was only 19 years old, and I was able to go buy Budweisers and drink beers. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, when I went to Greece, I'm like that would be illegal in the States. That would be illegal in the United States. That's illegal in the United States.
Yeah.
And my Greek cousins were like, "I thought you were the free country."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're drinking beer. They're drinking beer while driving.
Yeah. What service were you in?
I never went to service. I just went to Greece when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I just lived there for like a year, and just the culture shock and the difference. And honestly, it's just a facade that we're free, because when you actually compare, and this is a disadvantage of people that haven't been out of this country, to compare and contrast. In Greece, like, you kind of do what you want. And even I saw a traffic accident, and it took so long for the police to get there. And when they got there, it was like this little Datsun that came from the mountain, and two guys that looked like they were still in their pajamas. And it's kind of like a more free, almost anarchy, man. Like there's speed limits, but there's no speed limit enforcement. There's, it truly was more of a free country than the United States.
America was back in the 70s or 60s, I guess, but not even then, really.
Right. And then since 2001, since 9/11, man, they've really ramped and clamped down on this country, man. They really have.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were. I mean, they were out there arresting. Like that was so crazy. That was one of the things that inspired me too. Now that you think about it, now that you mention it, was this whole thing about this ever since 9/11, you can't do that anymore. I'm like, bullshit, man. I'm still a free person. They were arresting rail fans. People, a long-held American tradition of people going out and filming trains. It's rail fanning. And
plane watchers. There's plane watchers too that they can't stand. Plane spotters, train spotters, and plane spotters.
Arresting.
Those were like hobbies.
Yeah.
Someone asked me to ask you about Little Rock.
Okay, Little Rock. Hopefully, a lot of people are watching this. I know your channel's pretty big because there's a lot of people asking me about that. In Little Rock, the situation there was I actually had an attorney that reached out to me. He didn't solicit me or anything, but he was just talking to me, and I asked him if he was willing to represent me in that case because he was so appalled by what happened. He was an attorney in Little Rock, and he said, "Yeah, absolutely, I'll represent you on this case." But turned out he got diagnosed with terminal cancer a month or so after that, and he's died. He has since passed away, unfortunately. And now I don't have any attorneys out there. I can't find any attorneys that would be willing to represent me in that case because I would definitely like to sue over that one because I think that was just so egregious that they shouldn't get away with it.
Was that the one where the basically that inbred douchebags like this ain't no free will state? Is that one?
No, that was in Mississippi. That was Joffrion.
Joffrion. Yeah, remind me.
Little Rock was the one where I was out in front of City Hall there at the steps of City Hall. And this female officer, she was the one that was saying, I bet you're not even I bet you're not even military.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, that fat pig. My God, was she so ignorant.
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really just a bad one. But so the update is there's really no update. The attorney that I did have has passed away from cancer. And now I don't have an attorney at this point. So if you guys, anybody out there knows an attorney in Little Rock that could send them in my way, I'd be more than happy to talk to somebody.
Yes, guys, please, because if you go watch that, that'll infuriate you. And the thing is, there's so much oath violating that it's like the news cycle. Like this happens, oh my God, no one can believe it. 2 days go by, something more crazy happens, more crazy happens. It's endless.
Yeah.
All right, we're going on an hour. So go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
What was your inspiration? What got you started, man?
I
know this already. I
started playing pool, and the guy who taught me how to play pool was a conspiracy theorist, a truther, all the names, right? A sovereign, and he would tell me this stuff, and that he broke my conditioning. And then I found that book in the library. Instead of doing my college work, I ran across this book called The Federal Mafia, and it was about how there's no law that says you have to pay income tax. And I go, if this is true, why isn't the TV saying it? And so I started saying it to my friends, and their parents were like, you're crazy. If that was true, it'd be on TV. Remember back then, it was, if that was true, it would be on TV.
Right.
And then it turned into, when the internet came out. Where'd you hear that on the internet? Remember that? And then it turned into the internet. The real news was fake, and now the real news is actually on the internet, but now you have to actually have critical thinking ability and be able to filter out the BS. So,
and I know you were talking about not to burst Gavin Sims' bubble even more, but you were filming IRS agents at a like a coffee with a cop, but it was like a coffee with an IRS agent with an old VHS cassette camcorder or an 8mm, wasn't it?
Yeah, 8mm. I still have the tapes. Hey, never mind. I don't need to show you, but I have a stack of tapes like that right there in my safe. And yeah, I was the IRS. They had come ask us questions. So I take my camcorder, I go, and they got their feet up on the chair. The AC's kicking. They got cookies and apple cider. And I go, hey guys, I walk in there with the camera. I go, you guys are here to answer questions, right? And they go, yeah, what's your question? I go, okay, please. I had it written down because I was nervous, man. You know, all this bravado doesn't happen overnight. You start to learn it with the experience. And I said to them, please tell me the law that makes the average American living and working within the United States liable to pay a tax on their labor. And they said, we don't answer questions like that. I go, there's 12 of you here. None of you know the answer to which law says you got to pay income tax? And they're like, no. And they started freaking out and shuffling around and get security and get the cops. And I was so scared. I'm like, let's get out of here, bro, before they take my camera. And that's kind of and it goes from there.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest hopes is perpetrated. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Wasn't that back in the 90s?
Well, no,
2000s?
no, I moved to Florida in 2001. Then 9/11 happened, and then maybe 2002, 2003 was when that happened.
Well
But
before YouTube.
in the 90s, I was, the guy who taught me how to play pool, I started looking into stuff and who's running things and who's connected where, and the Rothschilds and the New World Order, the stuff that now everyone's saying it. There's channels dedicated to the New World Order. There's channels dedicated to the there's no income tax. But back then, you were an absolute kook, like, you some type of underground terrorist. Where are you coming up with this crap? I read, I research, I talk. I am interested. I want to know what's going on. I want the truth. And you start to find out that the truth is a very scary thing in this country.
Definitely.
All right, Jeff. What else? Closing? Anything in closing? I
really
appreciate you, man.
Is somebody asking you questions that need to be answered?
If anyone ask some questions if you have questions, and we'll wrap it up. Dude, you are an inspiration. You've inspired a lot of people. Me, Yacker, I'm sure endless people, man. Obviously, you have more support than detractors, and the people who, like that guy that came up. I don't know how that guy gets this close to me. I'm literally, I'd have my fist cocked back already. Just how do you maintain that composure? How?
Well, I studied under the great philosopher James Dalton from Roadhouse, Patrick Swayze's character. And
okay. Be nice. Yes.
Be nice. And I stick to that.
Until it's time not to be nice.
Right.
But that's the thing is, man, it's going to be so sudden for somebody, and they don't realize, dude, like their brain is like they're their own worst enemy, because they're going to do something so stupid that they might not make it home that night, man. That's the thing they don't get.
Over something. It's just like, so what, man? It's like
just on a sidewalk.
You see people flipping over because there's kids on skateboards. You see people flipping out because a guy on a motorcycle split lanes or something. Question for Jeff: what has been the experience with cops in Polk County? I haven't really experienced that much in Polk County.
Yeah, you're way up north Florida. They're really trying to ding Liberty Troll in Polk County, man. That Grady Judd, he's a scumbag. And when my restaurants were in Polk County, and the cops would be there before I was, and I give all first responders free drinks for like 13 years. We're talking about $75,000 worth of free drink. And and Grady, no body cams. And when the auditing came out,
people of that county love that guy.
I know, dude. They have dedicated Facebook pages for him, like the brainwash. And the Polk County, bro, outside of Lakeland, basically is like meth capital of the world. You got Lakeland, Bartow, and then Frostproof, Mulberry. These are all snowbird retirement cities, and then the regulars that live there are like very low income, low education. A lot of them are living off the government, and they think Grady is just the bee's knees because they see him making them Sixth Amendment violating BS press releases every day on Facebook.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
They love the police state, man. They love it.
Met you in the truth shall set you free. Let's see if there's anybody else. Have you heard from James Freeman? That's everybody's question nowadays.
Nope. I've been trying to find out about him, but I've reached out to Johnny 50 and he can't find him or get in touch with him.
I've called Bow. I've called both numbers I have for James. We don't know, man. And I'm assuming he either has 2 strikes or he's been getting threats from the government because he's too real for the government. Let's see if there are any more questions. I actually wish Joffrey's lawyer.
I wanted to say Joffrey, you just said it. Let everybody know. I don't know why he retired or he resigned, but he just recently resigned from his being a law enforcement officer in the city of Waveland. He resigned.
That's great.
It is great, but why? I don't know. Is he just going to the sheriff's department? Is he going somewhere else? I'm hoping to resign because he finally got the word. Look, man, you're too much of a liability, So,
after your hearing, he got promoted to training officer, didn't he?
Oh, they circled the city of Waveland, circled the wagons around him. He's what they want there. That city's so corrupt. After our lawsuit was finalized. Right before it, I didn't know this, but the city actually passed an ordinance outlawing free speech, basically, making it where you have to get a permit to have free speech there. So, what do you get? What can you do about that? You expose them, you file a lawsuit against them, and they double down on it and make it even worse. And they promote the guy, the one of the worst cops that I've ever seen in my whole life, on all of YouTube, and they promote him or protect him. So, but he's resigned now. I'd like to find out if anybody out there knows why or what's going on. Please let us know.
He probably either messed up or got a better job.
Yeah.
Or hopefully he got harassed and excoriated by your fans enough to where he don't want to do that job anymore, or he got recognized every time he was out in public. Okay, what happened with the Funky Pelican? You said something earlier, but give a quick recap there while I keep reading.
Funky Pelican, I have sent a demand letter to the Funky Pelican. We are demanding $200,000 First Amendment training for their officers, and that's right now they have 6 months to respond to that, and we haven't really received any kind of response. If they're not willing to settle, I can't imagine how they think they can fight that, or as obvious First Amendment violation, we'll file a federal civil rights lawsuit and go from there.
Who wouldn't want to stop the cops from placing hands on people unless the crime committed warrants them? Getting harder and harder, more expensive to get body cams in Florida. That's another game they're playing where they charge you exorbitant amounts of money to get public records.
It is. I've experienced that myself, trying to get body cams.
Let's see here, 2026. Don't see many questions. James Freeman for president. I would vote for Freeman and for president immediately. I would let Freeman declare martial law, honestly, because, well, go ahead.
I don't know if I'd vote for Freeman as president. I don't like leprechauns.
Dude, he's got it right, man. He doesn't even like the Constitution. I think of the Constitution as like controlled anarchy, because you got anarchy where there's nothing at all and every man for himself. And then to me, the Constitution is like just past anarchy where there's some control, and if some lady's on her own and needs government help, I get it. Like, but for the most part, government shouldn't be near you. You shouldn't see them everywhere. It shouldn't be that way.
Yeah, I mean, on the way I drove over here from my house, which is only like 3 miles from where I'm sitting at the Shands Bridge on the St. Johns River, and there was 3 flock cameras that I drove past, and I saw 2 St. Johns County Sheriff's deputies. And since we've been sitting here, the traffic's moving back and forth in front of me. I got the river in the background, but the traffic's, I've seen probably at least 6 or 7 cops from St. Johns County, Clay County, City of Green Cove Springs, Orange Park, City of St. Augustine, just driving all through here, man. They're everywhere. Oh, there's too many of them.
I had to drive. I drove some. I sold a set of wheels from Jupiter to someone in Jupiter. I drove them from Tampa to Jupiter. We literally saw 15 or 16 law enforcement agents cops on the way there and back, and got our plates ran twice.
Florida's really bad. There's so many cops in Florida. I can go up to Georgia. I can go up to Georgia where everybody talks about how bad the cops are up there, and they are. But I can probably drive for an hour or 2 and never see a cop. Here in Florida, I can't drive 6 miles without seeing at least 2 or 3 cops.
It's crazy. You want to hear an update on Freeman?
Yeah.
I really appreciate this interview. I have loved it. Okay. James Freeman update. This is from ANCAP News. So he has made contact via FaceTime call with one of us. He's okay. He is laying down the full-time activism and plugging back into family and a normal job after 8 years. Wow. YouTube pages take a ridiculous amount of time and energy to build content that people want to see. It is draining and exhausting. Yeah, it sure is. On top of that, the content he has been out collecting via confrontations has been draining and exhausting and in and of itself. You know that firsthand. He's the one out there confronting the government, and then when he finishes, he has to go back and spend hours upon hours editing and producing a video that people will want to watch. He needs a break. He needs his life back. He has been doing this basically full-time for 5 to 8 years now. His YouTube channel is in the process of being deleted. He is off social media. He needs space and time to heal, plug back into his family. We are so thankful to know he was not taken by a 3-letter agency, that he is home with his family. KS, hashtag James Freeman, hashtag James Springer, hashtag saw this on Facebook, hashtag texted John Felix.
But why is this channel being deleted? Is he doing it voluntarily, or is it being deleted because...
That's the impression I'm getting, but that's what I got. That's the most information I've gotten on Freeman in a while.
Well, there you go. Good.
Yeah, people don't know what it takes to have a successful YouTube channel. You know, I think this we just go out there and we're frauditors and like the ignorance you got to fight through every day. Dude, it got to the point where I had to stop looking at my comment section. I used to be so happy that I'm going to respond to everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
But then you start getting hit with the negativity, and the haters and the losers, and then even people in this movement that flipped and turned heel. Like, what is your problem, dude? And it's all because of ulterior motives and jealousy, like you said. They're mad that one YouTuber makes more than the other. They're mad that one gets more views than the other, and then they're losing the plot.
Yeah.
All right,
that's why I try to be like the Michael Anthony of the auditing community and stay out of it. Let's take the high road if I can. You know what I'm talking about, Michael Anthony of Van Halen.
Oh, okay. Because they all were infighting, and he's like, "You guys infight, and I'm gonna be over here, right?"
Yeah. Michael Anthony is the bass player, and he's just the classiest, coolest, nicest guy. And I'm not saying that I am, but I try to be like Michael Anthony.
You are, man. You are classy. You are restrained. You are even keeled. Just patriot, bro. I mean, I know it's hard to hear compliments. It's hard to hear compliments, and I know, especially you don't want to hear compliments, dude. But you are, and you've done, and your record speaks for itself.
Not everybody feels that way.
Who cares? I mean, the people who know. I mean, if they don't like what you're doing, that means they don't know the Constitution and they don't support it. Period. What other explanation could there be? If someone knows the First Amendment and believes in the First Amendment Bill of Rights, they should idolize you. Honestly, you put in the work, you've done the time, you've lost your freedom 15 times. You said, like, what else do you got to do? Yeah. All right, Jeff. Thank you for coming on for my birthday month, man. Say something in closing, man. We love you, bro.
Well, keep sticking it to the man. Keep exposing the bad cops out there. Keep exposing the way the government is abusing our rights and everything like that, and putting it out there. And hopefully we can change things. And thanks everybody for being there for me and standing behind me. And one of the things that when I first started doing civil rights investigations or auditing, I got a lot of messages. People are like, "Man, we need you to come to Alaska. We need you to come to Hawaii. We need you to come here." I was like, "Man, I would love to come to Hawaii, but I'm only one man. I can only do so much." And what I was hoping for was that more people would pick up cameras where they live and do it in their communities, and that's what we've achieved over all these years. So, and if people don't like it,
a lot of people have, but it's still not enough, man. It seems like there's a lot of auditors on the internet, but we're still like 1 million short, honestly.
Yeah.
We really are. I like to think that first thing I want to say, let me get your opinion. People need to stop voting for these two parties first and foremost. You agree with that?
Yeah, because I've been told that voting third party is a waste of vote, and I was like, well, if it's a waste of vote to vote on principle, then the whole thing's a waste.
Right. I always say, why would you waste your vote on those two parties? I'm not the one wasting my vote. You guys are. Like, again, they have these brainwashing phrases that they come up with.
Frustrating. It's frustrating.
And then the other thing I really think we should push outside of auditing and recording, I think everyone should record everywhere, man. I don't care if it's a dispensary, restaurant. People need to get used to other people exercising their rights without throwing hissy fits. And jury nullification is my big thing.
Jury nullification is the most important thing, really, that we could be talking about and pushing. But you see what happens to people when you do this, when you push jury nullification, and when you try to really, really educate, the public about jury nullification. Man, people get disappeared. They get arrested. They get put in prison. Man,
that tells you that they're super scared of jurors actually engaging in jury nullification. Which, if correct me if I'm wrong, means you as a juror in an American court not only get to decide on the facts of the case at hand, but you get to decide whether the law itself is moral.
Absolutely. Otherwise, what was the point of having a freaking jury? Duh. That's why we have a trial by jury, and that's why a lot of the bad laws have been overturned, because the government couldn't prosecute people because jurors kept voting not guilty, even though it was clear that they violated the law, like prohibition and things like that. Of course, that had a lot to do with the mafia, and people were scared. But if they can't enforce the law because juries won't convict, then that's we don't have to wait on the Supreme Court. We don't have to wait on laws to be changed. We can vote. We could have ended this putting people in prison because they were smoking weed, a plant, decades ago. If people would have just said not guilty, but
That's it.
It's an uphill battle. You put me on a jury where somebody got arrested for possessing drugs, marijuana or something like that. I'm going to vote not guilty all day, and I don't give a damn what people say.
I don't care what the other 11 jurors say. Whatever the other 11 jurors say don't matter.
Right.
There's no victim. There's no damages. He didn't do anything to anybody. And yeah, so another problem with that is the judge. The judges think that they're basically like super sovereign cops, and they always look at the jury and they're like, "I will instruct you as to the law." Like, what? No. And if a defendant, which a couple times, a few cases I've heard where a defendant is pro se and they'll bring up jury nullification, boom, with the gavel, boom, 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 boom. The jury needs to leave the courtroom right now. Like, that's their biggest fear, jury nullification. Because, like you said, we could skip the Supreme Court, we could skip all the BS. If only Americans stood up for each other and nullified garbage, unconstitutional, victimless crime laws, we could get our country back.
In my opinion, jury nullification is just as important, if not more important, than freedom of speech, the First Amendment provisions, the Second Amendment. It's probably the most important power that we have as a people is to nullify bad laws ourselves. We don't have, they can pass whatever the law they want. If they can't convict because people are voting not guilty because we think the law is immoral or we violate our rights, they can't convict.
All right, brother. I can't thank you enough, man. I'm turning 50. I really appreciate this. As a nice birthday gift for me.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Anyone else?
An honor for me to be on here.
Oh, bro, pleasure's all mine, dude. I'd literally, if I had any money, I'd pay you to appear on my channel.
You wouldn't need to do that.
I know, Jeff. You're an angel, bro. And it was a pleasure meeting you. What was it, 2 years ago? I already felt like I knew you. I walked right up to you like we've been friends forever. It's crazy. Even like when I met Warren Sapp, and he came to Clearwater, and he just came up to me and hugged me like he knew me from high school. It was so weird. And I kind of feel like that with you. When I saw you, I'm like, oh my God, there he is. There he is. Like, to me, Sapp's a celebrity and a superstar and a Hall of Fame football player. But to me, sorry, Warren, I love you and everything, but Jeff Gray is behind you. I need to talk to him.
Well, you need to get some of the real O-guards out there, the real legends like Tom Zebra and Daniel Solomon, Tom Zebra.
I think I have his number.
Randall Thomas is my favorite guy of all time. Most people have no idea who Sean Randall Thomas is.
Sean Randall Thomas is the guy who go in the subways in New York and tell the cops like, no, this ain't, like, I think Good Guy Audits is kind of emulating him now.
And the tippy top is the Batusai man, Philip Turner.
The Batusai, yeah, maybe I can get him. I'm gonna have to message him. All right, I got some prospects now. Thank you, brother. Jeff, thank you so much, man. I can't thank you enough. Keep doing what you do. Hopefully, we can get as many years out of you as possible. I know it's hard, man. I know it's draining. Like Freeman says, it is. It's hard to go full bore like that year after year and feeding Al Gore's rhythm over and over.
Yeah, well, right back at you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Much love. Everyone, subscribe to Honor Your Oath Civil Rights Investigations if you haven't already. See you, my brother.
All right, God bless. Take care.
Bye. All right, everybody. Leroy Truth, if you're still here, man, I wouldn't mind you coming on tomorrow. I think J-Town Press is going to interview with me on Thursday. She has an update. She's suing Pasco County, Florida, the Pasco County Tax Collector's Office. She's on appeal or something like that. So she's going to be Thursday. Leroy, if you want to come up tomorrow, I'm going to try to do as many interviews with some juggernauts I can, as many as I can this month for my 50th birthday. So J-Town Press on Thursday, Bay Area Transparency later this month. I asked Lackluster if he's busy. He's busy. It's fine. I haven't asked Sean yet, and if anybody, you guys know, send me an email and tell me who you think I should call. Tom Zebra is a good one. All right, everyone. Much love. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good day. Thank you for supporting me all these years. I've been on YouTube since 2011 myself, and I didn't go viral till like 2018. And overnight success takes years to accomplish. That's the truth, man. Like, when you see somebody and they just blow up, they've probably been doing it for years, and just finally their work paid off. And I got lucky one day. New Greek word, move. Bro, Hunter, that's like the worst thing you can say in Greek, man. How dare you? All right, everyone. thank you for joining us. Stay tuned for J-Town Press on Thursday, Bay Area Transparency later on this month, and whoever else I can get. Leroy, I'd like to have you tomorrow or sometime this week if you don't mind. In the meantime, peace and tranquility. Appreciate you guys. See ya.